The show is a mix of action, thriller, but it's also a spy story. It reminds me both Indiana Jones and James Bond all together. What made you say yes to this story?
For those reasons, exactly. Yeah, I've always been drawn to spy thrillers and action movies or series. It's just something that we both love. It was also a new character for me. I'd never taken on a role like Ed, and I wanted to challenge myself and see what would happen. Meeting Brady in the first audition, I instantly, I don't know how you felt, probably the same, but I had faith in him. I knew that I wanted to work with him.
I think for me, yeah, very similar to what you were saying. When I first met Brady, he seemed so intent on being like, I want to do something different with it. And I want you in this position. And for me, I had that initial drawback of being me as an NSA agent, are people going to buy that? And it's under her circumstances as it pertains to this story, for sure. Because that's the world that we're creating. And so having the idea of working with a filmmaker, and director that has a very clear vision of what he wants made the whole thing much more alluring. And just also the idea of doing stunts was, 100% I'm it.
The show is about a scientific discovery that could be transformed into a weapon. How important is in the present days to have a moral code when you are a scientist or a person who can actually change the world?
I mean, I think having a moral code, and if you're someone who is in a position of serious power, if you don't have that, it can be incredibly dangerous, as we've seen.
I feel like the most important thing about our show is that it poses that exact question of morality, accountability as it pertains to an evolving world and an evolving research of tech. And I think even when we look at tech today, there's so many conversations about ethics. I think understanding, first of all, what all of that is one of the most important things too, because I feel sometimes as things evolve, people have a little bit more disdain because they don't understand or have a fear-based perception of, modernization. But I think posing the question is the most important. And yeah, everyone should have a moral code, ethics, and also accountability. So.